I'm Johnny Scoble, and this is Chase the Heat. Hope you guys are doing good. That'd be good if we just kind of hung out for a little bit. Man, yesterday, same spot. It's beautiful and warm, sunny. Yesterday, it looked like a February snowstorm. Dizzy Dragon, good to see you. Email me, Dizzy. You need to. I'm going to email you as soon as this video is over. Make sure you respond to it. To JD13, good to see you. Narcoleptic Chihuahua Productions. Christopher Mitchell, good to see you. D. Mowry, good to see you. Jason Cronschnabel. Tim D, good to see you. Dennis Brace, I think I missed your birthday. So happy birthday, Dennis, unless I read something wrong online today. I think I saw that. Mr. Westcott, good to see you. Gunnar Ray, good to see you. Hi, Rick Smith. Nothing big, Dizzy. Fun with Chili's, good to see you. Daniel Carrillo. Josh Hopkins. So, I did it. I took a nap today. I'd never do that. I always wake up feeling kind of weird and goofy. I don't feel. I thought it'd be time to do the video. So here's what we got going on. If you haven't been paying attention or if you haven't seen, hi Sharon Chandler, good to see you, girl. Tommy and I did the Century Egg video. I've done it before. Turns out I did it wrong the first time I did it. Apparently, you're supposed to boil those eggs. Who knew? Not this guy. I didn't know. So you're supposed to boil them. So the first time we did it, the texture, it's got a regretful texture. It's just really tough. So we decided I convinced him that we'll boil them. But here's the thing. He doesn't know how he wants to do it. I think what would make the grossest century egg thing is to make century egg salad. Get the 2 eggs, throw some mayonnaise in, mush it up. I think that would just be the grossest thing because the color of them, it'll just be a really awful color. I think that might make it really gross. So I'm kind of wanting to do that, but he's not happy about it. So hopefully I'll get him to bite. Drew McCann, good to see you. Russ Keats, good to see you. Hi, Peter Ver. Philip Roman. Swiss Vapor, you know what? I was just talking about you today, Swiss Vapor. I was with Tommy in a store. How to get coffee? Like not to drink in a store, but you buy for the. So anyway, guy walks in front of me. I looked at him. I did a wicked double take. I look back and Tommy goes, Swiss Vapor. I went, yes. Dude walked by in the store and looked exactly like you. I'm not even just saying it. Wow, Sharon, my dad came to you in a dream. I was in the hospital. Told me to tell you not to cry. He's watching out for you. Whew. That's heavy duty, Sharon. Thank you for sharing that with me. I'm glad he visited you. Wish he'd visit me. Ray, good to see you. I heard, interesting, we're seeing you right now. I heard we weren't going to see you anymore. Good to see you, man. It's way gross, Daniel. So what did they say happened to you, says Philip Roman. I was wickedly dehydrated. I'm always on the verge of dehydration, not anymore, but I never, ever drank enough. And it was like, I just thought I didn't think it was going to be that big a deal. And then when I had spent some time in Erie and I was dehydrated there, but not really to the point where it was a problem. But when I travel, if I have a day of traveling coming in, like a couple flights, I'm traveling for the day, I don't eat and I don't drink like at all that day. I have a cup of coffee in the morning, that's it. Because the last thing I want to do when I'm traveling and catching flights and moving from one place to another, whatever, is to worry about having to go to the bathroom in the airport or on a plane. So I was already on the verge of dehydration, and then I got here. And this is not like excuse me, if anybody watched, we used to live in Reno, and they call it the high desert. Well, I have some wicked news for you. The difference between a high desert and the desert, excuse me, are two very, very different things. Not at all the same. So I got here and I was already dehydrated. And the weird thing is, when you get to the point where you're really dehydrated, your body needs water desperately, but something happens, like a switch goes in you, and you aren't really aware of it. Even though you're dying of thirst, or your body is, you're not feeling thirsty, and you just have no interest in drinking. And I was past that point. Where that happens, your self awareness of being in that moment, you aren't aware of it. So I was just really, really dehydrated. I was inside. I was with Tommy, and I was playing guitar. It's really weird too because I felt like in the zone. I was in the zone. As a guitarist, sometimes I have better days than others. Some days everything just works, and I try different things I haven't tried before, and it works. And that was like I felt like I was having one of those hours, and then I started getting really sweaty. Out of nowhere, I started getting really sweaty and dizzy. I thought I was going to pass out. And next thing I know, I was sitting in a chair in the kitchen, and I had passed out. I didn't realize it. I went out, and when I went out, I just had this amazing sense of peace. It was beautiful. It was strange. Anyway, so next thing I know, if you've ever been knocked out or you've had a procedure, when you come to, you just have visual for a few minutes. Like you're seeing stuff, but you're not processing what it is you're actually seeing. So I woke up, I opened my eyes, and my brother was. I thought I was in a fight because he was slapping me, trying to get me to come to. He did CPR on me. When he found me, I was blue. So it's not a good color for me. I prefer black. I'm not a blue guy. So then it was bad. He's like, man, I was scared to death because I thought he was in a fight. Then I kind of realized, okay, it's my brother. I'm not in a fight. I was a hummingbird. Wow. He flew right up here, like all, from far away, like right up to me. Anyhow, he did CPR on me for a little bit, got me going, and he took me to the doctor, the hospital. I went to the ER. They kind of whisked me back in a hurry, and it seemed like a hurry anyway. And at that time, Bizzle, my bro, good to see you. My vitals were pretty not vital. I had a 39 beats per minute was my heart rate. It's normally like 60. And then my blood pressure, which is normally 120 over 60, was 52 over 34, which was really bad. It was probably the worst part of it. And then my temperature, instead of being at 98.6 or whatever, my temperature was 92. So the doctor said I was swirling the drain. Like had he not been there, that was it. That would have been it. So in the hospital they gave me IVs and double bagged it, and which was an experience because I was freezing, but I didn't feel like I was freezing, but apparently I was. Because 92 is not it's not good. And the liquid they were putting in me was chilly, so it was a moment. It was the strangest thing. I don't remember making the video from the hospital room at all. I don't remember that even a little. The day before, I made a video for Instagram where I shot a video in front of this house. I don't remember that at all. It was bad. So anyway, they told me they were going to keep me for a few days, and I bounced back really quickly. They said they did 2 blood tests. They did a CAT scan. They did a high contrasting MRI. They did tests on my kidneys, my liver, my lungs, and my heart, and an EKG. What am I forgetting? I think that's everything. But they said that my organs. This is the crazy part. My organs. I have the organs of somebody half my age. That was crazy because if you knew how it's like, I haven't treated my organs so well over the years. I mean, I'm due now. But apparently that was the thing. And it was really interesting. If you have something wrong with you, you get a lot of doctors that all of a sudden everybody's a doctor. And I have people say, oh, there's no way that could be the problem. Listen, a million tests, a whole ton of doctors. And the minute I was hydrated, every single one of my symptoms was gone. And now I drink water. I drink probably 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day, but I drink a ton of water now. So it's a scary thing. Turns out Ray was almost born in the hospital that I was at. Didn't quite make it there. Andrew, the heat seeker boy. All right, question. Hey, Johnny, the tinctures that you were getting made from Everclear. I'm like thinking about making some of this pot season. Everclear is typically the go-to. Some states they have laws preventing Everclear from being sold. Florida is one of those. So in a place like if you live in Florida, they'll use 151. Bacardi 151. I believe that helps because it adds a little bit of a flavor to it. But we use something at the office that's actually that much stronger than Everclear. It's called Diesel. Diesel. And that's what we use. The higher the alcohol content, the more of the capsaicin it will extract from the plant matter. So if you have a lower alcohol, it'll pull less, and your tincture won't be as hot. So, I passed out from heat stroke before. It was so weird. Philip Roman, yeah, it is, man. The pastor of the church I used to attend in Reno, his wife had a stroke, or excuse me, was overheated. She was dehydrated, and she had a stroke while it was happening, and she died. And she was, young. She was. You also felt like everything was unreal. I don't know if it wasn't that. I wasn't thinking at all. You don't understand it. I wasn't thinking at all, the Sea Dragon. It wasn't like I was thinking, this isn't really happening. I was just, when it was starting to go south on me, I just had visual. I wasn't able to even process what I was thinking. It's hard to explain. How bad is that Pepper X Dual Challenge? Not very hot. It tastes better than the one chip. I'll tell you that. Rolling with the losing dice. But it's not that hot. It does taste better, though. So his vapor back in combat, me and my comrades were dehydrated nearly. So dang dangerous. For real, man. With all the gear, hot running, very low on water, would make it, but with side effects. Yeah, believe me. It's a scary thing, man. It was frightening. I don't ever want that to happen. I have this fear. It's a weirdly strange thing. I've had this fear forever. Because if you've ever been hurt and you wake up in a hospital, or you wake up somewhere and everything was fine a few minutes ago, all of a sudden now there's a whole bunch of people freaking out because of something that's happened to you. That's been it's like a fear I've had because it happened to me when I was young. It's been a fear I've had since I was like 17 years old, and it's a terrifying feeling to wake up and realize that something awful has happened. It's like it could be like a life changer, and it's you. And everybody's in like serious mode, running around, and that's exactly what happened. And not quite. I didn't wake up in the hospital. I was here the whole time, and I don't remember the drive to the hospital. I remember getting wheeled into the emergency room, but I just was my self-awareness wasn't really. It was just weird. Lee asked, good to see you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you looking forward to taking on Pepper X when you're 100%? I'm 100% now. Lee S. I really am. I'm 100%. I swear to you, it was just dehydration. But I'm a little disappointed that nobody's going to eat that pepper because, as legend has it, that pepper is not going to be released to the public. So, but here's the thing. I'm not, the second, honestly, in my mind, the minute he said it's not being released to the public, it's a non-event. And I'll never say, like, how many times have you seen me say a video, well, compared to a Reaper? The reason I do that is because the whole world knows how hot a Reaper is. Nobody's ever going to know that with Pepper X. Today, I had a really amazing comment today. He said, based on the video I did a week ago for Pepper X, he went out and bought their new Pepper X sauce, which is 91% Pepper X mash. And he goes, he was disappointed. He said it wasn't that hot. For 91% mash, he was expecting it to be a blistering hot sauce. He goes, it just wasn't that hot. And that just perfectly, it's a perfect example of why I believe, and you have to believe there's a method to Ed's madness. Maybe he's just getting everybody fuming mad and just drooling over this pepper so that 6 months from now or a year from now he releases it and the whole world buys it. I don't know. But so I'm not disappointed anymore at all. It's a non-event. So to me, it's the Bigfoot of the pepper world. Hi, Wendy Love. Good to see you. I'm a couple ways a day from doing the hot one sauce. Good job, Chili Phil. Let me know how it works there. Biz all the dude. Balaki, good to see you, man. I was watching, something happened. Somebody left a comment the other day. It was on an older video, and I went to respond to it because it just popped up and got my attention. And your comment was right above his. It was like 2 years ago. So thank you for all you guys that are still watching. I appreciate that. Burning Ernie, weather's beautiful here. Really weird though, man. I'm telling you, I can still see snow right there, and I can go over and grab a handful of them and bring it home if you guys wanted to wait. But I don't think you want to do that. Right now, it says that the temperature here in it's like 78 degrees, and there's still a foot tall. That's where all the stuff came off the roof. But that was the craziest thing. The pool picked up 2 inches of water. I kid not, in about a half hour. I like Pearl Jam, Josh. Hey, Bigfoot might actually be real, not fair. You know what? To me, you just hit the nail on the head. It's the same thing. You're right. It might be. Am I ever going to run into it? Am I worried about Bigfoot? Nah, not even the slightest. Gary Scard, good to see you, man. Star Wars Ladybug. The Bollinger Bunch says hi. Good to see you. Yeet, yeet. Pepper X Salsa. Fantastic. Whole bottle gone in 2 days. Now, if that was 2.69, you think you would have cruised through a whole bottle in 2 days? Just saying. You're right, Ray. It's hail. But still pretty cool. Now, I grew up in the East Coast where it was like blizzards were a normal thing. Chris Wackel, I'm more of a metal fan. You know what's really funny? You'd be surprised. I don't really dislike music of almost any kind. I mean, I get in weird moods where I like classical, you name it. Do I miss the Josh asked, do I miss the Vermont winters? No, here's the funny thing about winter and snow and everything else. It sucks unless you're in it doing something fun in it, like skiing, snowboarding, building a fort with your kids or doing something. If you're doing something like that, snow is a great thing. If you're not, it just sucks. It's like water. We like humans. We don't like water. We don't like being wet unless we want to be wet. And then we're all about being wet. But if we don't want to be wet, how much is getting wet a bummer? I don't know. It's kind of how I think. I do miss, what I miss about Vermont, Josh, and this is the thing I miss the most about Vermont, the amazing changes in the seasons. Like I haven't spent a year here, so I don't know. But in Texas, there's like hot and hotter. Not so much. Reno was just like that. There were days it was just bizarre, and so I don't really know what the weather's like here. But there, all the different seasons are just really dramatic. Like, hey, autumn, and you're like, man, it's autumn. It's just like heavy duty. And then when winter comes, it's like no two ways about it. It's winter. And I've never been in a place where it seemed like that. Johnny Jr. is great. I had a great talk with him today. I'll be talking to him again tonight. He's going to start working for me for the channel, actually, working capacity. I don't want to hire somebody to help me with things like comments and things like that. And Johnny Jr. just makes good sense. Erie Aviation Corporate. Dread doesn't really have seasons in Florida. I bet you ask somebody who's lived in Florida their whole life, like a long, long time, say what are the seasons, they can probably define it. There's a weird one in New England that no one ever talks about. If you live there, you know about it. There's a fifth season. Maybe you know what that fifth season is in Vermont? I'm going to just tell you because I lived there for a long time. Can anybody guess what it is? The fifth season. There's winter, spring, summer, fall, and there you go, Josh. It's a Vermonter. Mud season. And it's not a joke. Everything becomes gray. The off yourself rate, people off themselves a whole lot more in that time of year than any other time of year. The snow is melting. And because of the mud, everything's melting. It just becomes a mud. Everything is muddy. I mean, I don't remember what it's like now. I haven't been there in a long time. But I remember you'd have planks going from the road to your home, and you'd walk along the plank because everything was just mired, like just a murky mud. It was interesting. Here's the thing, Andrew. You know what Andrew says New Zealand's still in the works. I was just talking to Clint Myers recently. Yeah, it is, but here's the problem. It's been such a nightmare getting to Australia. I've had people that have reached out that are trying to move there that have never had anything on their record anywhere at all, and they've been trying for 3.5 years to get there. So things are just there's just a challenge right now. So I'm never gonna give up because I love her a lot. She loves me a lot. But here's the deal: when I get there, it's gonna be difficult to want to get up and go somewhere. It's gonna be a long time before I want to go anywhere. You know what I mean? If I'm going to go anywhere, I'll come back here to visit my family. But I definitely have plans. I got to go back to New Zealand again. I got to go back to the Philippines. All the places I've been, I've got to go back again because those are all great people that I love. There's some really fun videos coming up. Paul, he says he missed those videos. You did real funny. The video that we're about to do, if I can convince Tommy to do the century egg salad sandwich, do you have any idea how gross those black gross eggs would be if you added some mayo? It would be so disgusting. Like I don't really want to do it. You don't understand. It's not fun for me, but I had so much fun watching him have trouble with it. Isn't that weird? I'd be willing to do it just to force him to do it. Ray says at the end of his comment, he says the good thing about Arizona, there's no earthquakes or hurricanes. You had to say that. Watch how there'll be an earthquake or a hurricane here. Josh Miller, good to see you, man. Egg salad, those. Yeah, do I think egg salad would be really gross? I've done the balut Swiss vapor, but I can't see Tommy doing that. I think it's gross. I have chocolate reapers, but I love the heat. The funny thing about chocolate pods, Bizzle, and this is something I can just tell you. I had a bunch of people. Hey, Cyrock, good to see you, bro. Here's the thing about chocolate pods. You have no idea how I used to hate them. It was like used to be the grossest thing in the world to me. Like the taste of it would make me want to throw up. Like the taste of floral to me was like I gagged trying to swallow it. And my taste for chocolate pods have changed so much. I mean, I really, really love it. So I think maybe it'll take time for you, Bizzle. But I mean, the first 2 years, I did not like them at all. I mean, in fact, all the old videos, the only time I ever came close to throwing up is when I was eating chocolate pods, because my body just doesn't want. It wants to reject them. Diz, good to see you, man. What's the worst of the strong video? The smell, the taste, Paul. Probably the smell. If you could overcome the smell, you can probably deal with the taste. The smell really is tough because here's the problem with the smell of surströmming. It doesn't smell like anything that should be ingested by a living creature. You know what I mean? It doesn't. It just smells. It smells like the last thing you should do with that is actually consume it. It doesn't smell like fish, like a fish product. It smells like something decaying. It smells like decomp. It's what it smells like. There's no other way to say it. It really does. It's just, and the last one we did was really a problem because he had the can. Ray knows. We had the can here. He had 2 cans of surströmming from the same company. And the first can, they opened it and there was no fillets inside at all. It was just liquid. And so we had this can. You could shake it and you could hear there was nothing sloshing in there at all but water. So he left that can out for almost a month, and it was bad. Ugh, I don't want to think about it. But if you can get past the smell, then you can live with the taste. I mean, it's not something I can't ever imagine enjoying it. Like if you were starving, I can see it as choking it down, saying it's going to give me calories, but I can't ever imagine being hungry enough where that would be a delicacy. But listen, it's weird, I mean, and the truth is, I haven't seen. It doesn't matter what anyone says. I haven't seen lots of videos of people just having a ball. I'm sure there are videos of people enjoying it. Here's the thing, though. Countries are like that. You have a thing that you like, other countries don't. What I'm told, I've been told this in half a dozen countries I've been to. One of the things that people think from other countries, they think that's gross in America, one of the things that they really have a problem with is PB&J, peanut butter and jelly. And it's the texture of it. Apparently, it's really the whole concept of it is foul and disgusting for so many people. And we're like PB&J, whatever, it's delicious. So if you grow up with something, I can see how that's something. It's a thing. Like balut, I ate balut in the Philippines. You know, I remember it tasting. You know, listen, it does taste. It tastes okay. That's different. You know, that's just such a mental thing. That's not a taste thing. That tastes good. It's just a wicked mental hurdle to get over trying to, you know, when you open up at the top and you look in there, you see the little critter in there, and you know he's not done yet. You can tell he needed a little bit more developing. It's just I didn't want to talk about it anymore. It's rough. It's rough. No, the hail's still some hail here, Jason. Right there. I'm not making it up. I should go over and grab some. You know I'm going to. Give me 2 seconds. Nobody leave. If you leave, I'll know. We have 57 people. Give me 1 second. I'm coming. I'm coming. That is ice, my friends. Anyway, and we picked up one person while I was gone. That's how you do it, people. You know what's happening now? The sun is going to be a problem for me in just a minute, so I'm going to end this in just a little bit. Paul Rack says, how did my pepper eating start? Papa Scoville, my dad. He was a little guy. I was a little guy. Probably single digits. I don't think I was 10. I was probably 7 or 8, maybe. Can't really know for sure. I can't ask him, you know. But he was eating pepperoncini. I mean, I did this with pig's feet, you name it. Every time he ate anything, I was like, I want some. I want to try it. That's how kids are, you know. And he said, you're not going to like it. And I said, I want to try it. And we went back and forth doing that a little while. Finally, he goes, fine, here, have it. You're not going to like it. And I ate it and liked it. And that's kind of started it. Like, to me, food should, you know, if you eat food and it's not flavorful, and it doesn't have to always be spicy, but it has to be flavorful. Food without real flavor is just fuel in your gas tank. And I'm not interested in just fueling up my gas tank. So there's that. So everything is hot pretty much. Shade Tree Forging. Hey, I make knives for fun. Can I make you a pepper cutting knife? Kind gesture. Shade Tree Forging. Why, certainly you can do that. If you want to do me a favor, Shade, you can email me at chasetheheat@gmail.com. You know, it's funny. I've only used, like, since I've started the channel, I bet you I've used less than a half a dozen knives. Not counting the weird one, and if I'm in a weird spot, I need a knife. But cutting knives for the channel, I've only used a couple. I used a few switchblades, out the front knives from Microtech. It was really funny. If you watch me on social media, on Facebook, I had this really cool Microtech out the front, you know, automatic knife. It's just a fancy name for a switchblade. Push the button, slides out, pull it back, it retracts. It was just camouflage. It was a very cool knife. And one day I open it, I went to pull it back in, and it got gunky. It was crazy. It was super gunky. And it was like a $400 knife. And I couldn't, so I finally got the blade back in there, and I called, I emailed them, and they said, well, if you try to fix it yourself, it'll void the warranty. But if you send it to us, we'll fix it and sharpen it and give it a tune-up and send it back to you. So I said, that sounds like a deal. So I sent it to them. I think they're Kentucky or Tennessee or something. But I sent it to them, and about a month later, I get it back, and it's got this funny letter in there, and it says, we cleaned your knife. The culprit word was pepper gunk, pepper seeds, and gunk from pepper. You gotta be careful. Make sure you clean your knife. That pepper seed will gunk up your knife. It was hilarious. I posted the letter. Pretty funny. But so then I have a couple others. One of them, I have three I got from Bree that are great. I have one that matters to me a lot is I gave a knife to my dad when he was alive. I gave it to him for Christmas. Just a little German locking knife. And he liked it. And when he died, I found it in his car, and I took it back. So that's kind of a fun knife of mine. But yeah, you can email me. We'll make that happen. Benchmade does make great knives, Josh. Listen, I have one of the knives I have. Actually, it's a Microtech Halo 2. And I'm not joking. If you look online at what a Halo 2 costs for a knife, you'll have a stroke. It's like almost $1,000 for a knife that you can drop and break or something. It's just bizarre to me. Alex from Calgary, Canada. Love watching your videos. You rock. Thank you. Alex from Calgary. Appreciate you watching. Hi, Static. Jason Cronsnavel is happy I'm still here. Man, me too. You know what, though? It's really funny. I've never really been nervous about dying. I'm not. I know. I think people say that to like bravado. When I went out on the floor, if he hadn't been there, I was done. But the whole time, I had the most amazing feeling. Like all this was going on, I should be like I was dying essentially. Like when he found me, I wasn't breathing. All right, I was blue, so I was pretty much done. But I felt so good. I had the most amazing feeling of peace and just I can't even describe it. To the point where it was almost a bummer to wake up and not feel like that anymore. Because when I woke up, I felt like crap. Paul Rack, how do you rate UK Chili Queen? She seems on it. She's a savage. She's a chili thug. She really is. You know what's tough about her? I love peppers. I mean, I really do. I love peppers. I don't eat them it's not a bravado thing. There were no YouTube, I'd still be eating peppers. I love peppers, man. I love sharing them. She hates peppers. Her to say it. She doesn't like peppers. Think about that. She doesn't like peppers. She doesn't like, I train all the time. I eat peppers all the time. She doesn't do it. She doesn't eat peppers. The only time she eats peppers is in a contest. So to go up head to head with her and get smoked and, by someone who doesn't really like peppers, it's kind of interesting. With what happened recently, has it made you look at life differently at all? Yes. I feel better now. It was really a good question. The first 2 days after it happened, that was fine. The next day, they released me. They told me they were going to keep me for 2 days, but they let me go. And it didn't, like what had happened to me, like how close I came to, going to the other side permanently. It didn't really hit me for 2 days. I remember when it hit me, it was like so heavy. I couldn't, it really stuck with me. It still sticks with me, but for about a week, it was rough. Every time I wake up in the morning, it was like I had these, you were almost dead glasses I was looking at, threw everything out of. Like, you weren't breathing, 2 days ago. And it was just a weird feeling. And then, I went through this thing where it's like every time I'd see Tom, I walk in the room, he's standing, I give him a big hug and a kiss and tell him I love him. It's like, he saved my life, man. So, yeah, it did, But I'll tell you what, I'm not scared of dying. I'm not even a little. Static, she is tough as nails. What makes her amazing, and this is the most important thing, one of the most important things that the UK Chili Queen does. And I'm saying this with love. She brings beauty and elegance to a really crappy, dirty grunt of a sport. Think about it. You've watched a chili contest? There's nothing beautiful or glamorous about it. People are sitting there dying. There's snot coming out their face. People chuck on the table. I mean, there's barf buckets everywhere. People get cramps in their hands from Naga Claw. And it's like there's nothing, you know what I mean? It's not an attractive sport. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean? It's true. It's just true. But and the other thing that's weird about her is this, and they're all beautiful things. I mean, I love her. She's like a really good friend of mine. She and I are close. But in every contest, if you watch every single contest she's ever been in, and watch the video, I don't care who she's up against, a bunch of fourth graders, it doesn't make any difference who she's up against. At some point during the contest, you're thinking to yourself, this is it. She's going to tap this time. She can't keep going. She's going to tap. This is the one she loses. And she just digs deep and finds this gear. I've talked about it before. It's a gear I don't have. My gear is self-preservation. My gear is this. I have a reputation. I've never barfed in front of people because of peppers. A stupid milk video or something like that, or surströmming. That's one thing. But as far as peppers, I have a reputation, and I'm not gonna. You know what I mean? And she's just that gear she's got is I'm gonna die today. Right? before I lose to you. That's the gear I'm shifting into right now. You got that? And she's going to die before. And I don't have that. I want to see tomorrow. I want to live tomorrow. I don't want to throw up in front of everybody. She just has a gear that my engine doesn't have. My transmission doesn't have that gear. You made Peppers cool again. I went through the fire breathing idiot. You remember? Yeah, you know what? Can I tell you, he's a significant reason of why I started my channel. True story. I was sitting with my daughter one day. She was little. My daughter's going to graduate pre-med next year. That's how long I've been doing this. But she was a little girl. And I said, honey, come here. This is funny. You got to see this. And she came over and sat down. And just as she did, he went on this string of F-bombs. And granted, it was really funny. But it wasn't funny if your little girl is sitting next to him. She's never heard that word before. Not from me, anyway. So in that moment, I was like, I felt like a terrible father. I couldn't rewind it. And I remember thinking, man, I always remember sitting around going, what channel is fun to watch, entertaining, and still family friendly about Chili's? And there wasn't one. There really wasn't one. Being honest, to me, there wasn't one that checked all those boxes. So that's what I wanted to have. I wanted to be a place you could learn stuff, but it'd be fun watching still, and still somehow be family friendly. That was the whole deal. Is eating Pepper X really that hot? Look, I don't know. I haven't eaten one. If I eat one, you know what I'm thinking about doing, you guys? In a little over a week, about 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be in Fort Mill. Ed lives in Fort Mill. I used to live there. I lived there for, I thought I caught him. I lived in the same town as Ed for 3 years. Been to Puckerbutt a bunch of times. Driven by his farms all over the place because he has patches where he grows as you drive through Fort Mill. But there's a fly right there. Anyway, so I'm thinking when I go there, I may, I don't know if I will do it with a phone call. I could call him on the phone. Or I might just do it in a video and say, hey, man, I'm thinking about it. I haven't made that decision if I want to do that. But I may call him and say, hey, can I come eat that pepper? I don't know. A few people have eaten Pepper X Dread. A few people that he selected. And so the downside to that is never going to have an impartial review. Why, look who, Tommy Scola. What are you doing, man?
Oh,
Gonna join me?
I'll sit down briefly.
Yes. I was talking about you a little bit ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Something to burn or
No,
you
you
want to be rich?
beating the brakes on me when I was coming to, and we were talking about that.
Oh,
He said, has it changed yet? I said, it has. So every time I walked in the room for 3 days, I'd be like, I'll give him a kiss and Tommy. Tell him I love him. I don't do that. I've kind of stopped. But wasn't that a drag?
Yeah, it was a drag. It really was.
It was very relieved. It was almost like saving a dog from the pound, dude. I was at it was like one of those pounds that dogs.
Rescue?
Yeah, it wasn't a rescue pound. It was one of those pounds where they have an oven, And I realized that I was going to I wasn't going to make it out of there.
Factory?
Yeah, for real, dude. You saved me. So anyway, I'm glad you're here. Let's talk
I
about
get
this.
hate mail.
Huh?
I get hate mail for saying
Listen, I do too. Isn't it funny? It is what it is. So time for the egg. That's what we're going to talk about. Because, there's a couple, how are we going to do it? At least we're doing it right this time. They're boiled. And I didn't know. We've established that. I didn't know. So the texture should be a lot better. I'm guessing that amber looking kind of translucent egg white, that's not really white. It's kind of translucent. It looks like the stuff they find mosquitoes in like museums. Blobs of amber.
Yeah.
But stop, it does. So I think if we boil it though, that's going to turn white.
Stop. Was there something I was doing to offend you?
No, it's either going to turn white or going to turn black.
I was supposed to be happier about this? Is that what I'm doing wrong? Oh, neat. A dirty egg.
I said to it the other week. I'm like, come on, dude, it's going to be fun. I said, look, man, I know it sucks, but you act like you hate it. We'll do that thing we do. And he's like, act like I hate it. I hate this. I don't want to do it. I don't like doing this.
I'm not doing this for
You know what you're doing it for?
No.
Because you love me, man.
That's what I'm doing this for?
Yeah, man.
That's stupid. That's the best I could come up with. That's awful. I'm leaving. You depressed me.
All right. Well, oh no. So hang on. Well, yeah, come here. Come back here.
No.
So we're okay with the century egg salad sandwich. A little bit of mayo.
Oh God.
See, that was breaking the ice. That's all I needed to do. Now I got him. I know I can do it now. He's been introduced. He knows that people want to see it. I got to do the soft approach with him. I can't begin to tell you how, like the last couple of times we've had to eat gross stuff, it's been a fight. He's not happy about it. He's in there complaining. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. See if I can. I think we're going to try to do it tomorrow. If we do it, I think the best way to do it is to have the eggs, a bowl, mayo, and peel the eggs right in front of everybody, cut them in half, stick them in the bowl, take a blob of mayo, crunch up, show everybody what it looks like, smear it on a sandwich, and eat it. Do it all in one video. Because if you make it ahead of time, no one's going to believe it. They got to see it come out of the eggshell. You know how people are. I think that'd be a good way to do it. Jeremy Bell, good to see you, bro. Anyway, don't you think that would be a good way to do it, though? Maybe me. I think that would be a good way to do it. I have had flatline hot sauce. It wasn't that hot, to be really honest with you. Here's the thing. It's not one of those sauces that everybody who eats it wants to say, I did 7 million. No, it may have 7 million extract or 6 million, whatever, but it's nowhere close to 7 million. I promise you. Paul Reck, thank you so much for your super chat. I really appreciate that, man. Jeff Remmer, my brother, ghost cayenne powder on that century egg Sammy. You know what? Maybe if we do it, that wouldn't be a bad idea, just to add a little flavor to it. But here's the thing: you don't understand. Tommy's not psyched about this. Like he's not fooling. He's not like it's gross for me. It's not like I'm having a good time, but I promise you, I'm doing it because he really hates it, and he is really funny to watch struggle with something he doesn't want to eat. It's hilarious. You guys have seen it. You don't need me to tell you. So I don't want to add any more to it. So he's already really unhappy about it. If throwing mayo into it is going to make it even worse. I don't want to think about it. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this thing up, you guys. I'm expecting Bizzle, you and I have to talk, and Dizzy Dragon, I'm going to send you an email. I love you guys. Thank you for all of you, all the people who watch the channel, all the people that bus pass. I love you all. Thank you so much. Did you hear that? That's that rare desert Bigfoot. I'm Johnny Scoville. This was Chase the Heat.